I'm in the middle of it right now. I'm at the point in my life where, I'm done with college and I'm started my career already.
Yeah.
And there are so many people that are around me that don't have Christ in their life. And they've talked about how they've been raised in the church and they've gone through, youth ministries and everything. And then it just stops.
Now for the Forge Podcast. Question for you. What's the power of your testimony if it's never shared? This is the Forge Podcast. All right, testing. Yeah. All right, cool. I can get loud, as you've probably heard around our table. Well, Dom, welcome to the Forge Podcast, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
I jumped at the opportunity. A slot opened up. I'm like, hey, bro, you want to go? You're like, let's go.
Let's go. Anytime.
Yeah? Yep. So real quick, just when we met at Forge, you saw my Chicago Cubs shirt, and you're like, hey, bro, you showed me your tattoo. And so real quick, tell everybody you're the 8-year-old kid.
I'm the kid that got hit in 2008, and I was in a coma for 6 days. So, yeah, it was a pretty crazy time back then. But
Ted Lilly was pitching.
Ted Lilly was a pitcher, and I went there with my dad for my first Cubs game, and I got smoked right on the third base side, back before they had all the nets up on the field. And
dude, that's so crazy.
Yeah, it was life-changing, really. Like, just in a coma, had to relearn how to talk and walk at that age. And, I had a full recovery.
Yeah.
There's still, like, a little part of my brain that doesn't get any blood flow to it. But other than that, perfectly healthy.
That's crazy. Yeah. And then you said you have, like, $50,000 worth of, like, memorabilia from, like,
I won't
Cubs.
give you my address, but, yes, inside my house, there was a lot of prized possessions from the Cubs.
I bet, dude.
Yeah.
We'll stop talking about the Cubs after this, but I thought Ted Lilly would be so much better than he was.
Yeah, back then when pitchers had a hit, I wasn't expecting it to happen, but he definitely was not the greatest athlete, but he's a great man. Like, he's still, we ran into him a couple years ago at the Innings Festival out here in Arizona, and he said hello, and it was good seeing him. It was
cool.
Really, really random, but we got to see him again. So it was really cool.
Oh, how neat.
Yeah.
So, I asked you on here, and I loved I said, hey, what do you want to talk about? And immediately you had something. I mean, you didn't even wait 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's been something that I've been thinking about, and it's something that I hold dearly in, like, my testimony. It's something that, I think about a lot, like what brought me back into Christianity and me having a relationship with Christ. It really changed my life.
Well, I think how you worded it was so perfect and poetic, if you can say that, but it was, how do you maintain, and tell me if I'm messing this up, but this is what I took from it. How do you maintain your faith through the transitions of life?
Correct.
And that can be from junior high into high school. That's a big jump.
Yeah.
High school into college. That's a big jump. I mean, that's parents to independence, and then college
into careers
into
and life.
Your one-bedroom apartment, living by yourself or living with roommates. You're like, okay. I mean, those are big steps. So as soon as you said them, I'm like, dude, what a topic.
Yeah.
Because I went through all of those, and I could speak to all of them, but I want to have you speak to it.
Yeah.
So, what about that? Well, I'll just let you have the floor. What about that? What stuck out to you for that?
For me, being how young I am, I'm in the middle of it right now. I'm at the point in my life where, I'm done with college and I'm started my career already.
Yeah.
And there are so many people that are around me that don't have Christ in their life, and they've talked about how they've been raised in the church and they've gone through, youth ministries and everything, and then it just stops. Whether or not that is from going to college or not having resources when they go to college, or
have you ever stopped them and asked them why?
Like they have no answers.
They
just say, I just stopped. And it befuddles me that they answer that way, and they just don't want to really talk about it, and that's it.
Do you go further with them?
Yeah, I try to ask them. I was like, well, is there something that happened or whatnot? They're like, no, life happened, and I just kind of went about my life, and I just never went back. It's sad.
Do you have like, knowing these people, you know them, right? They're friends or at least colleagues.
Yeah, colleagues, people that I work with.
Do you have a guess of what that might be?
At least 10 to 15 guys that, that work with me. And, one or two will be like, oh yeah, well, I still go to church, yearly or, on the holidays or whatnot, but they're not active Christian men.
Were they on fire for the Lord before that?
No, they
were they
just raised in church.
Okay.
I went to church with my family and that was it. And then life happened and maybe they went down the wrong road or something happened and they just, stopped seeking the Lord.
I always, I guess I can say I always, if you haven't, my guess, and I don't know these people at all, but my guess is they never had an encounter with the living God.
That could be true.
It's my guess, because when you have an encounter with the living God, yes, you can still walk away, step away, but you can never. Nothing ever replaces that. Nothing ever replaces that moment you had, or that interaction, or that miracle, or that whatever that story was. That nothing can replace that.
Right.
So I don't know them, but that would be my guess. Is that they went to church, but they never really had that encounter. And I think that word encounter is it's a powerful one, and I think we should all seek it. But so what? Relate that to you, and
it plays a lot of my testimony. I was raised in church, growing up
in Chicago, right?
In Chicago, yeah. I went attended Parkview Christian Church, which was almost like a church like SBC. It's non-denominational Christian. Growing up in church, though, it was every Sunday going to VBS camps. I served at the church doing tech and helping my mom with VBS cooks and everything. We were heavily involved in the church.
Yeah.
We were there from like day one when the church was built. But towards like my end of my middle school, high school years, my parents' marriage started falling apart. It was always falling apart, but it just got worse and worse. And as I got older and I started realizing what was going on in my parents' marriage, it kind of separated us from the church. Mm-hmm. We never went together anymore. It was always, hey, we're going to church, or hey, it's okay, you can stay at home. We're just going to go without you.
Right.
And that, looking back, it shouldn't have been that way, but it's something. But it was. It's something that you live with, And so looking back at it, my dad, as our father figure in our household, he, was physically abusive to us. And so, in church, you learn that, even as men in the Fords, like the man is supposed to be the, how would you say it? It's the leader of the household, and he's supposed to be guiding his family to Christ and teaching them how to be Christ-like figures to their sons. And
we see God however we see our Father.
Yeah.
That is how God set that up. And if there's ever a kink in that system, it affects a little bit of how we see our Heavenly Father.
Yeah. And I saw my father as, almost monstrous, because he was abusive, heavily abusive to us. And so it kind of steered me away from church, or even towards God. Did
it seem hypocritical to you?
It was. So he, in church, since we were friends with everyone, our family was known at the church. It was basically just put on a show. You walk into the doors at church and just act out. We can be fighting in the car on the way to church. The second we walk into the door, we're happy as all be, and nothing's going on in our life. And that's how it was.
He expected that of you guys?
Yeah, he never dove into anything, and we were just, hey, play your part. We're getting through church. Nothing happens, and we go home and go back to our normal ways.
Yeah.
And that was the end of my church experiences through high school, middle school, high school. And after that, I stopped seeking the Lord because I didn't know what to believe. I look at my dad and I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
Is he actually teaching us to be Christ-like when he's actually not being Christ-like? Mm-hmm. And so I had a skewed vision of, what to believe, because I didn't know.
It was not modeled
at all
correctly.
Yeah. And so it's completely messed up my views,
So when do you remember what age were you when it's like you can remember like stopping? going to church?
Towards probably my sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
Was when, because I did high school ministries my freshman year, and then I kind of went on and off my sophomore year of high school. But after that, the abuse got worse at home, and we just stopped going to church completely towards the end of my sophomore. Like
he stopped as well.
Like he would try to bring us, and because there was so much fighting going on in the house that we just never got together as a family and went to church.
But he would still go?
He would go on and off through that time, but he was never like, hey, we're going to church. We were also like, we were afraid of my father.
Sure.
Like completely, like, because we didn't want to like spend time with you at church because we know what you're doing at home, and why would we go to church with you? So we just never went with him.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, it was a horrible situation to be in.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
So sophomore, you're 16?
Yeah, I was 16, and then once I was done with high school, I not seeking the Lord, not having a relationship at all, I decided, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get away from my family. Like, I don't want to be at home. And I enrolled to go to Oklahoma State University in Oklahoma. And I was like, you know what? It's my time.
Yeah.
I'm away from my family. I'm going to go do me. And that's what started my spiral of not having anything in my life. I had no family that I communicated with. I couldn't go home, no one to lean on, and I'm just going to figure out life by myself. Yep. And that's what...
I don't blame you.
Yeah, it was horrible. Absolutely horrible. And...
Oh, even like going in college, trying to figure everything out?
Yeah, it was myself.
Not fun.
Yeah, it was not fun at all. Like, Give
me like some, like, what was life like? Like give me October, you're doing what?
So I went to college. I had a pretty good scholarship for Air Force ROTC at Oklahoma State. I did that throughout high school, and I wanted to go into the Air Force. So during the week, going to classes, hustling, trying to, keep good grades. Yeah. My grandmother was helping me out with the rest of the money for college, but I had to keep a good GPA. Right. So I'm hitting the books, but weekends, Friday, Saturday, even Sundays, partying, doing drugs, partying, doing drugs, partying, and then going to classes Monday through Friday. And that was my life all freshman year. And I really was trying to fit in. I was a young freshman, still growing, and I was just trying to fit in.
Sure.
And I'm surrounded by all these college kids that have already experienced life basically in high school. I was not a partier in high school at all, and now I'm around basically adults, but I am not an adult at that time, just trying to fit in. And I don't know right or wrong. I just I'm not going to tell my parents, or I can't go back and like reach for advice from them because that's not an avenue at that time for me. Yeah. So I'm just kind of doing my thing, and just sinning constantly. And probably were
you aware that it was sin?
Yes, 100%. Okay. Like through high school, like ministries and everything, like I knew what was right and wrong. Like I know, sex before marriage, and obviously not doing dare. My dad was a police officer for 30 years. So I knew what was right and wrong. And maybe that was a part rebellion that I was doing when I was in college. That was like, well, I don't really like my dad right now, so I'm just going to kind of break the rules and just do my thing. Yep. And then after my freshman year, going into my sophomore year, I got kicked out of Air Force ROTC, lost my scholarship because they found medical records from when I got hit in the head. And I also found out that I had hearing loss in both of my ears. So it was almost like a knock at the door, like, hey, what's going on now?
Oh, wow.
So I lost everything. I had a horrible breakup with my high school sweetheart that we were dating still in college, long distance, but, we broke up. I lost my scholarship. Now I'm questioning, what am I even doing?
Right.
Like, I'm in college for this passion of mine, like, since freshman year of high school. Like, hey, you're going into the Air Force, like, this is what you want to do.
Right.
And I lost everything, like, instantly. And middle of the semester, too. Like, that's when I found out.
Oh, my gosh.
So I've got to finish the rest of this semester at college knowing that you're not going to pursue what you want at all. They just said, yep, you're dismissed. You're done. And that was,
oh my gosh.
That was the end. So at that point, I was like, what do you do at all? I just decided to drop out. I'm like, before I dropped out, though, while I was still partying, I'm like, oh, I get a free semester now. That just live it up. So never changed. Just kept sitting, partying, and I just dropped out. I was like, you know what? I don't know what to do. I got no more passion. I don't know what else to do. I didn't have Christ. I had no relationship with him. I had nothing. No friends. All my friends are still at college.
Yeah.
And now I'm dropping out, and I've got nobody.
So where'd you go after you dropped out?
After I dropped out, I decided I was going to move back at home. I had no other avenue.
Right.
Like, I'm like, okay, you're 20 years old.
Right.
I wasn't even 21 at the time. That's how young I was going into college. So I moved back home with my parents, who basically lived together, but they weren't married they weren't divorced at the time, but they were basically living separate.
Right.
And basically just back into living in a broken household for almost another year of constant arguing and just being surrounded by just hateful people on both ends. My mom and my dad together, just hateful people trying to, and I'm not sure, like, I know why, like, my mom stayed with my dad because she stopped her career to raise us 4 kids at the time. So, but, you know, I hated being in that situation. I was in it for 20 plus years, and now being a college dropout, living back with the parents and not having anything, I didn't know what to do at all. Like,
hey Dad, you want to hang out?
Yeah. And, you know, I was just stuck.
Yeah.
Completely stuck. And so I just, you know, went throughout my life, you know, still doing drugs, and just, I was working part-time at a car dealership, just changing oil and doing parts of it. I'm like, I know I'm not doing this forever. I'm like, I just need to, like, calm down and just kind of figure things out. And it wasn't until maybe a couple months after working at the car dealership, I was like, you know what, I'm going to try to pick up another passion. And I went to high school. When I was in high school, I did a bunch of welding in high school. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to pick up welding again.
Sweet.
You know?
Yeah.
So I found a trade school in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I got accepted, and I was like, instantly, the week after that, I packed my bags, drove to Tulsa, and started school.
Wow.
Starting another chapter of my life.
Yeah.
Still haven't, nothing with Christ in my
Still
life.
the same.
Just, I was
different
like,
school.
you know, yeah, go different schools,
Okay.
still horrible
But
family.
you found a passion.
But I found my
something that you
passion
were
to get me
interested in.
away.
Yeah.
And it just started over again. Now I'm in school, doing welding, surrounded by people that are not Christ-like at all. They're just partying on the weekends.
Same thing. Yep.
Yeah, basically we call them roughnecks.
Yeah.
You know, just country dudes welding and trying to start a career. And I lived by myself. I had a 1-bedroom apartment in Tulsa, and didn't really have a lot of friends. But there's 2 kids that kind of stuck out towards the end of my school in welding, and they were going to church here and there. One guy was like almost like super shy, you know, stuck by himself. And, you know, we started becoming friends here and there. And obviously he wasn't partaking in any of the stuff that I was doing, like partying and, you know, doing drugs here and there. And he just reached out to me one day. He's like, hey, like, we started a small group in our church. Do you want to, like, come hang out on Wednesday? I was like, sure, why not? Like, you know, I haven't done something like this since high school. Why not? What is it going to hurt? And I met up with him, and after that, for the last 3 weeks of school, I just went with him every week. It was almost
just
like,
real quick, let me pause on that. Isn't it, I've heard so many stories where people just walking by or just casually say, hey, do you want to go with me to
X,
Bible
Y, and Z.
study, church, whatever it is?
Yeah,
and that has been so many times the start of somebody's salvation walk.
Yeah,
it's such a simple thing, but somehow the devil gets us so in our heads to be like, oh, I'm not going to, not now. I'll wait, maybe another time.
Yeah.
But man, I've heard so many stories and salvation journeys start with, hey, you want to go to with me.
Yeah. It's just Christ kind of like tugging at you a little bit, like, hey, maybe there's this way to get you back, kind of. And that was his way. After I went there, went to a small group, unfortunately it wasn't for a long time because I was done with school, but it felt good. Yeah. It felt really good to kind of open up that avenue in my life again, because I had nobody. Right. I was alone trying to figure out life by myself. Again, after the second time. Right. And I was tired. I was so tired of just being alone and not having anyone, and just kind of like
how he town where you, literally I didn't know. There's no family.
I didn't know anyone in Tulsa. It was just people that I was surrounding myself with from school, and
tornadoes.
Yeah, and tornadoes. Yes, yeah, very bad tornadoes.
We and my daughters and I just watched Twister too. Like I don't know. That was his little thing, hand gesture he'd do. Tornado Wranglers, I think. But that was in Oklahoma. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's all good. So, it was kind of like a wake-up call at that point. And after the school was done, I decided to do another program after he was basically done with school, and I stayed for a little bit longer to do another program. And I kind of like still seeked out Christ a little bit by myself, just reading a little bit. I still wasn't attending church regularly by myself. I didn't have a church back then, but I tried to go back to his church once or twice, and it wasn't the same because there was no communion. I didn't have any community with anyone. It was just kind of like stop in, see a service here and there, and that was about it. Yep. And it wasn't until I graduated school and I decided, towards my better judgment, to go onto a trip with my father.
All right, getting the band back
together. And he invited me to go to a retreat with him.
He invited you?
He invited me. Yeah, I was.
Did he know you were kind of?
Yeah, I reached out. I reached out to him here and there, like throughout schooling. Like, hey, I just went to a small group, because he always like, and this is like, it's really hard to like understand like the truth behind my father, because he's almost like narcissistic, and so it's almost like, does he really want the best interest in you, or is he just trying to like better himself? Yeah. But he would like reach out here and there, like, hey, have you found a church to go to? X, Y, like just like trying to figure out like where you're at with like your relationship with Christ. And so like, I was like, hey, I reached out, and I went to a small group, and I was telling him about it, and he's like, well, I've got a trip coming up in a month, you should come with. And I was like, well, maybe, I don't know, we'll just see how it is if I'm free. Yeah. And it was.
Did that feel weird to you that he would invite you?
It wasn't weird, because we used to do trips like when I was younger. We would do like missions trips like as a family here and there, but it wasn't super weird. But I was also like, hey, I don't really have that relationship with Christ right now. Like, I'm not really seeking him at that time. So, and going out with him at that time was gonna be a little weird.
That's a tall order.
Yeah,
right?
It's a very like,
you've got all this. I don't know if you want to call it baggage, but you've got all this history with him that's been unresolved, right? Nobody really talked about it. And then, hey, let's go spend a weekend together, son. Yeah. Like, well, Dad, you know what? I
don't know about that.
I think I'm busy, I think.
Yeah. It was like, it was extremely God's calling to just say, let's just go. Yeah. Let's just do it. I'm not doing this for our relationship. I'm doing this for me. Mm-hmm. And that was God speaking literally from our heart. And when I called him back, I was like, you know what? I'm free. Let's do it. Sign me up. I'll give you the money for it. Mm-hmm. And he told me, hey, we'll go order this book. It's John Eldredge, Wild at Heart. This is what the entire weekend's about.
So I just want to pull that book up. Keep talking. I think I read it in college, but I want to see the cover of it.
Yeah, it's basically a book about restoring your heart. Your broken heart, that basically all the wounds that your father or someone that could break your heart, and how to restore those wounds in your heart, which coming from my father, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a very interesting weekend about
we're
repairing.
Not going fishing and picnicking. We're doing some work.
Yeah. And so it it helped our relationship a little bit, but at the same time, it was just about fixing our hearts, as men. And I was surrounded by all these men that have broken hearts from all different backstories, just like
Right.
we have here at the Forge. Like everyone has different aspects.
Everyone. I don't care if you're a Forge. Everybody in the world.
Everyone, yeah. But just to be in a retreat with all these Christian men that come from different backgrounds and have different scenarios, and just to be able to shed that light and experiences with you. Like, I was the youngest person there, and I walked away changed.
Thank you for listening to the Forge Podcast.